Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to build a good customer support agent using Voiceflow, our favorite platform. One of the things that I always keep seeing people doing is they'll build the bare minimum agent and then want to share that with their clients. Building a good agent, even as a starting point for your clients, is super important. And I'm going to attach everything, the template, what you can send to your clients, so that yes, you can get started somewhere, because I know most of you are struggling to get your foot in the door. Let's get started. First things first, whenever you're trying to build an agent, one thing that is super important is actually the knowledge base rather than what you put in the agent, because the point is, if your agent can't answer your client questions, it's worthless. So let's start with step number one, which is scrape. And we are going to use something called Firecrawl. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a super cool tool, right? Let me just bring you to the home page so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Firecrawl.dev. And so it's an amazing scraping tool created for developers rather than just for quick stuff. So we're going to use the map function. Once you sign up, you go to the dashboard and they give you a generous free activity. You come here and click on playground and you can click on map. Once you click on map, you need to pick up your whatever website or products you're working on and scrape their website. So I'm going to use a complex tool called Headsner. It's a cloud service company. So what I'm trying to do for Headsner is create an AI agent. Obviously, they have something here, but I don't care about that. I'm going to go for their docs. So I already have a link of their docs.headsner.com. So I already have their docs here. You can see there are multiple options. I'm just going to stick to their cloud and servers option, which is something I'm really interested in because that's one of their most used features. And this is also super important. When you're building for your clients, remember that you're choosing something that's important to them. That is somewhere again, they are showed as a product or a problem in your email or any conversation. And then we're going to just do is copy and paste the URL. So let me just move this a bit below so you guys can see this. I'm just copying and pasting the URL. Once the URL is copied, I can take that to Firecrawl. So we'll come back here, and once we are here, we are going to come to Firecrawl, come to the playground, paste this thing, and that's pretty much it. We are just going to click on run. It's going to actually start and map all the URLs, and it only found one, and that's strange. Or probably, okay, yeah, my bad. I had to go a bit. So you can see the URL and everything else. Now it will go ahead and find multiple URLs and bring that back. As you can see, it brought back 24 URLs which have a ton of data. Now the point is, again, obviously you can ask it to go deeper into this, or even explain go much more deeper or something, and run for each one of them. We just wanted to get one shot on it, right? So once you have that, you can go to activity logs if you want to see where they are. So you can see I have done it a couple of times, and once you have this, you can just click on download, right? And then you have all the JSON and all the URLs available here. Once you have all the URLs, only thing that you actually need to do is just copy and paste this whole thing, right? And come back to Voiceflow. So what you're going to do is click on new agent and start with a basic template, or even you can start with the customer support one. We're not going to use it a lot, so we are just going to stick with the basic template, and I'm just going to put YD demo customer support, right? And I'm going to click on create a project. So it's obviously going to create a new project and everything else. Give me some basic content to work with here. Don't like this whole thing where Voiceflow starts popping up as soon as I've entered the dev environment, but that's fine. Again, what we're going to do is come back, click on back, and come to the knowledge base. That's super important that you understand this, right? You have just scraped a lot of information, but then you want to add this here. So add data source, click on URLs. Obviously, you could have done a sitemap here and everything else. I just like to use Firecrawl better because it also goes a bit more deeper if you want anything else. It's up to you. Click on URLs, come back here, paste everything here line by line, and then you can select again. As you can see, one small issue because again it has double quotes when you have copied from JSON. What you're going to do is go to ChatGPT, give me the final URLs without the quotes. Again, it will just give you the whole list of URLs and Excel that you should just be able to copy. So give it a couple of seconds. Photo is pretty fast, right? Again, I'm happy they have been able to change that. Just come back here. Again, it's getting copied as markdown. I hope. Will this work? And press. Yep, perfect. Got it. Now, only thing you have to do is refresh. I'm just going to set it to weekly because mostly the documentation won't change for months. Run an AI automation agency where we have helped hundreds of businesses implement amazing AI solutions for their own business and really become amazingly better on how they operate and also how they help their clients do better work. Go ahead on the link below and book a call today. The weekly is fine just in case they keep updating it. So this is done. You have the status of all of this information available now. Now that's great. You see, with Voiceflow, you don't actually need to go jump into workflow section, right? Because you can come back and build your agents here, which is super great. I don't like directly jumping into workflow. It does not really solve a lot of our problems. So obviously they have a customer support template, which I am not really happy about because it's an example, so it's fine. Like, we'll just leave it here. What we're going to do is click on new agent, right? And create and title it Hetzner Tech Support. And what we want to do is click here and describe the prompt you wanted to create. If you want to start there, and that's a great starting point, right? We can say use persona prompting technique and create a persona of an expert technical support agent who has more than 10 years of experience in handling servers and technical cloud questions and is able to guide the user on a journey to resolve their problems. And also then again, again, very simply, we should mention a couple of more things to resolve the problem and also give answers in a polite way. And also probably again, explain them in steps, reply in markdown, has access to a knowledge base and should strictly stick to it. So this is just a great starting point, given that you could start writing your own prompt, but this is called what is called meta prompting. And as I have told you, use persona prompting and everything else. I technically want it prompt should be in a markdown format. So it needs to be a bit more broken down, just 3-4 lines, but I think we'll come back like this. Okay, we can edit on this. So agent responsible, the chat agent is instead of what we're going to do is you are an expert technical assistant. It does not always come out perfect. Exactly, you are responsible, and then that's what okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, can I do Control F and H? Nope. So I want to replace all of this again. Replace the agent with you are, right? So it should technically now do that. This is better. Okay, I like this, the animation a lot. It's pretty cool, stuff happening, and then you can just accept it. Okay, so you maintain a polite and professional behavior, communication clear and concise, XYZ. Your primary goal is to guide users through troubleshooting, communication style, and XYZ. Okay, so it's better, you have a decent tone, you have a decent communication style, and also a great starting point. I just believe always it's a great starting point. I would technically want to change it. I actually also want to give it a couple of things. I want to give it access to the knowledge base, right? So trigger the knowledge base every time, no matter what. Fetch the details to answer the user question. Right, this is super important. Okay, so now we know when we're going to trigger the knowledge base. If we don't change this, it will only trigger the knowledge base when it does not have an answer. The agent will not have detailed answers unless it's super trained. There is a popular technology, so it will have some, but I always wanted to refer to the most updated documentation rather than something old. Perfect. We are obviously going to add a lot of things. From a model perspective, I like to use O3 mini or O4 mini, but we're going to stick to O4 mini not to burn out of tokens and probably increase the tokens to at least 8,000. I always like to say increase the tokens to the max, because most of the times you should be controlling the response style on the prompt rather than in the tokens. Because let's say a user puts in a complex query, you should be okay to spend more tokens if required, because it's an average token value that you're seeing. You're not saying, what if it costs a lot of tokens? No, it does not. If your response quality is that, we can also say very simply, we can tell them always respond in less than 3 sentences, always, to ensure that the user is not overwhelmed. Right, and this works. Then we can add paths and everything. We'll do that in a couple of seconds. But now I want to go ahead and test it out. So what we're going to do is come to workflow, come back here, change this from customer support to Hetzner Tech Support, and you can see exit every conversation, return or something, and test your agent. And I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Explain me how to set up a server.
Hello and welcome. I'm your expert technical support. Okay.
Quick start guide, and that's great. So you got a quick start guide, and the best part, respond very well, take all the fluff. This is super good. This is how you technically want your agent to respond in the first shot, rather than figuring it out in 10, 15 different other ways. Now, a couple of things that we want to do is, because this is not perfect, right? It just starts, right? It's just like asking you a question, XYZ. So what I want to do is technically take talk message, and then welcome to. I'm just going to write welcome to Heads. I'm your AI tech support. Ask me any question, right? And then obviously you want to select variants, at least 3 variants will share, ask me anything, and XYZ, perfect. Now, one specific thing which is called guardrails, right? So I want to technically ask guardrails, right? And this is super important, because else people can abuse your agent, which very few people actually think about. What will happen is some of your clients will go ahead and test it, answer a random question, and it will actually answer that, because it's just an AI agent which is supposed to follow this, but there's nothing saying it should not answer other questions. For example, if I don't add this and come back here and tell me about the history of World War II. The point is, I think it edited. Yeah, so server and clouds, but you might find a comprehensive guide like Wikipedia and everything. The idea is like that should not happen at all, because the point is it's not supposed to, right? I want to add more guardrails. So come back here, click on edit and guardrails. Don't answer any questions not related to cloud servers, etc. Now this is still good, like you have your first agent, you have everything else. If I click on test your agent, I'll get a variant of the answer, quick agent that can explain. I did not connect that from the workflow, right? So let's bring this down and we connect this and wait for the user reply and say very simply, not agent, I want to listen and capture user reply. Come back here and take the user reply and answer this. So I'm going to come here simply and say, here is the question that the user just asked. I'm just going to select last reference, right? Obviously. Perfect. So we have this, we have the model selected and everything. Now it should start looking a bit better. And then you have greetings, I'm your AI tech support at Hertz. Feel free to ask me anything. Explain me what is a CPU, right? And then it will technically be able to explain me in the context of Hertz. Like these are some questions that are tricky and like should be able to explain. Let's see. Okay, it just explains CPU. That's fine. I don't have a problem with this explaining. What does a vCPU mean in Hertz? So let's see what it explains. It's right now still explaining. So what we are doing is pattern testing it. Just test it across. I would like it to explain everything in context of Hertz. But the idea, again, all of these things used to take me so much time before building Voiceflow. Like if you see old videos for like 1 year ago, you'll see all of these problems. Okay, come to paths. Now what we're going to do is create an exit path. If the user wants to end the conversation, follow this, or if the user is asking something profane, trigger this automatically. So the point is, like, most of the times people don't think that your agent can be abused in multiple different ways. You technically want to end the conversation, or if the user wants to know the agent prompt instructions. So that we just ended. This disables a lot of the points. Now one tool that I want to give it an option is to create an API. Why an API tool? I want to give it an option to ask the user for its email and get the kind of products that they're like. This is a very small thing, and that's why we come back to this diagram where you check for customer and record interactions. Checking for customer is super important. I have a table, and in this table what I'm going to use is input a couple of details. So I'm just going to write Akshat, a random email, right, and then not add for a server used for hosting an event. I'm just going to put this as a detail. So what happens is, now I will want to give my agent an option to fetch some details from this table so that it can understand more about the customer. So what I'm going to do is come to this. This is how a curl request looks like. for creating a record, I want to get a record from a field and we're going to fetch that out. So a lot of people used to get issues in just copying and pasting this. So I'm going to make it more simple. I'm just going to copy this whole thing again and just copy this whole thing and put it in ChatGPT, because I have got so many comments on my videos that people just have issues using it. Utilize this, help me curl request to fetch a record using an email. Super simple, just copy everything from Airtable documentation and then you have a curl request that will come like this. So you get a final curl request which automatically filters everything by an email. So I can copy this and then come to one more tool called Postman. Postman is super amazing and you should definitely use it. But here you see there's an input variable and I'm going to write email, right? User email ID, because that is super important, right? I can paste this here but doesn't change, and I would expect like hopefully like this gets fixed in some time. But what we are technically looking for is an option to just utilize the curl request directly here, right? I want to show you how does the curl request actually gets formatted, and then you can just copy and paste variables, so you don't have to worry about anything. So literally just 2 steps: copy this whole thing, list your record and get that whole thing. So I'm just going to create like a new HTTP request, right? And stop all of this, come back here, and you see it automatically creates everything in a single place. So only thing that you need to do is now literally just copy this, right? We're going to copy this particular part. You can see this very simple part. So customers list and everything else. What we're going to do is now super simple. You see before this question mark, right? I'm just going to copy this, Control C, bring this back here and put in this variable. Okay, that's it. Super simple. Just put this here. Headers. Now headers, you have a header here. Copy this, come back here, and in authorization, you have to copy this, and we'll get an API key. I'll show you how to get an API key. We'll just come back and copy here. Then in parameter, very simple again. You can filter by formula. Copy this, paste here, copy this, and again just paste this here. As you can see, like again, it has like a option of like getting information, right, or filter by formula, which we are technically filtering something by a formula. We could also use just a field, but if I just want to get an API key, all you need to come is click on authentication, then go to create tokens. Super simple. Click on create new token. Very simply, we're going to select a scope. I just wanted to read options, right? I don't want to write anything, and we are going to select a base. Click on create token, and we'll get this token. Obviously, this is not going to work after a certain time. So very simply, come back here, and then here exactly we'll be putting our token, right? So bearer token, and then you have this whole thing available here. Let's try to run this, right? Again, pull this in properly. Yes, I was expecting that because we'll get some issues or something. So I had to go down a rabbit hole to really figure out this filter by formula, because it always comes out with an issue. So very simply, you need something like this, right? Super simple. What we're going to do is we have already copied and pasted everything here. The only thing that we need to change is in this filter by formula, instead of that whole complex loop, we'll come back here. We'll just copy this, paste this here, and instead of @a.com, in this we'll put a variable which is going to be our email. If I copy and paste the exact URL here, it works with the authorization. It just gets the record. The only thing I want to test now is put this, and probably one of these things will work, right? Yep, it still works. Again, I think it's probably some issue with the parameter formatting of Voiceflow, but that's fine. We'll get rid of that. So, okay, this is working now. I have already defined like get the customer information after answering their first question. If they refuse to give, keep continuing. To answer their questions. Get the customer information by asking for their email to help them better, so that we can capture their email. We can also ask the user to provide an email ID or something, but let's see, we'll test it, test your agent, and we'll go from there. Tell me about servers. That's great. How do I sign up? Let's see if the agent is able to recognize it should ask for an email right now. It's still part of the description, but not part of the agent instructions. You will have to understand it. So you can see that, but the problem here is now I have not given any option to the agent to actually ask for the email, right? So what I'm going to ask is, after you answer their question, ask them for their email so that you can assist them better. And if you get response back, use the details that you got to help them better, as you can get to know what products they have signed for. Now you can do this for multiple options, right? The idea is like, if we add this, like, you should be able to get the response and everything and capture all of this information. So I can probably put this here and everything else to know their product. This is one thing we need to check and probably take a couple of sets on that. So let's see. Right, so it should technically answer about Hetzner, right, again with the word. Okay, perfect, awesome. It should ask for my email now, right? Let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay, it's not asking. I want to know more about your cloud services. And this is where we'll be given a couple of options. Switch the model Probo for O3. O3 is too expensive, but let's see. Or GPT 4.1, because it is better at following instructions. Reset this, again start a new chart. Tell me about servers, and now I'm going to just copy this so that this is how you test out and you see what works or what does not. But there are a couple of things that will throw a problem, right? Or probably like, the way the function is working, that's why I'm not able to capture it. Yeah, perfect, right? And because after first response, that's when I wanted to ask. So if the user is not continuing, it's just a question. Perfect. You can see, like, this is exactly perfect, and thank God for GPT 4.1. It's very instruction driven, and you can use that. So again, you have to test out on models. But now this looks much better. The best way to share this is you can keep asking questions or something like that. One more step I would expect all of you to do is to record the interactions based on what the user is doing. We'll technically, like, should capture. Once we end the conversation, kind of like, save everything and capture all of that information and send it back to a table. That's optional, completely up to you if you want to do that, but that also adds a good quality of life. If you see, the workflow looks super small, right? We just then finally click on end, right? So it ends the conversation if the user is not responding. But the best thing that you can do is come back down to widgets, interfaces, widgets, and then change the colors of this. So you can change the color. If I just zoom out, I'll be able to see the agent, and you should definitely change the appearance and the style. So instead of your AI agent, I'll say Hetzner AI, and I will then obviously say the tech support powered by Akshat, right? So whatever, you want to add an image, or you can change how you want this to be displayed. Talk to tech support, right? And then obviously you can change the color. Now the best thing is you can change the primary color. I will take primary red. The only thing left is to drop the image, get rid of the UI thing. You can add a footer text. That's super great. Like, you can add, like, so here we'll technically write powered by Akshat Bahety, and then get rid of, like, this, and we'll probably enter here Better with AI, which is the agency you can contact if you want help with your solutions, and then come back here and do this. That's pretty much it, right? And then you can just technically drag and drop this and send this off to someone you have in private mode, so you can confirm it, copy code, and you can send it out to someone to do this. And this is super cool. And obviously, like, you can get the Hetzner logo and technically just copy and paste this. So you can control save image, and I can drop an image. You can select this, drop the image, and you'll see this now looks like a complete image. You get that? And obviously you have to also choose the agent image. Sometimes we want a customer image to be separate. So here we can have a different image. Why not have 3 different images in the same one, but we are just going to choose the same. So you have the Hetzner AI, and now this looks like an agent that you can send across. Always do these steps. That's why when you come to the last step, most people figure out that deploy is just like, okay, just send out whatever is ready. No, do the branding, do it while it's already super easy now. I remember how difficult it used to be, and then you can just be happy with all of this stuff. Obviously, if you want to impress them, add a number or something like that, but again, that's beyond the scope of this particular tutorial. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's your agent, complete customer support agent, built in less than 30 minutes. So go ahead and test it out and let me know what you think. If you have any doubts, put down in the comments and I'll respond to them. Thanks a lot for watching this. If this helped you, this whole thing is going to be available in the description. Click on that subscribe button. Really helps me out a lot. And share this video with people if you can. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next one.